Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have an entrepreneur, Igor. So can you please introduce yourself?
I am Barry LaBov. I own a company called LaBov Marketing, Communications, and Training. I also have written a book called The Power of Differentiation. So I'm located in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Dallas, Texas, with my teams in both cities. And our clients include Macallan Scotch, Audi, Volkswagen, and a number of wonderful small and large clients.
So Barry, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend to entrepreneurs out there to make the first million?
That's a great question, Harry. I have 5 steps, and here they are. Number 1, don't count. Here's my point on that. Don't get obsessed with a dollar amount. Don't get obsessed with whether you reach this number or that number as you're working with somebody. Look at the big picture. It will add up at some point. Number 2, take chances. Sometimes you will be asked to do things that are not natural for you to do. Now, I don't mean unethical things. You shouldn't do those things, but things that are going to stretch you. Allow yourself to be stretched a little if the opportunity is with a great customer or client who will give you room to fall or fail a little bit, but take chances. Number 3, celebrate with people. So it's not all about you, it's about the people around you. As you are succeeding, don't look at it as your success. It's our success. It's what we're doing together. Celebrate it. Don't just tell people, hey, we're doing pretty good. Say, hey, let's stop and let's talk about how all of you did so well, because after all, you're doing all these great things. Related to that is my 4th step, which is sharing the credit. So don't be the person who uses the word I. It's we, it's us. Don't be unrealistically humble and say, well, I didn't do anything. No. But share the credit. Urge people to step up and do more, because after all, it'll help you grow as well. And then the final thing is constantly create, bring ideas, whether it's to your customers or your people. Don't get static. Don't get lazy. Constantly look at new ways to be better, to offer more. Those are my 5 steps.
Wow, I love, Barry, the five steps, especially for something that you have covered. And I think that is a key to be successful entrepreneur. And not too many people talk about it. But today in your 5 step, you talk about, and it's that ego, right? So right. I find we interview, we have in this broadcast, we have a projection to interview over 5,000 entrepreneurs. And we're asking the same question, but the way that you answer, I want to touch base on that, because there is something that you cover, and it's about leadership. It's about the collective effort. It's about a we. And we have entrepreneurs out there that sometimes they're trapped of the business. They're working Monday to Sunday because they want to be the center. They want to do the people that know it all, the people that they're I. And then you find them trapped working Monday to Sunday, trying to solve all the problems by themselves, and they don't surrender this ego, and therefore sometimes because they are immersed in the business, they want to do everything by themselves. They don't want to take any input from anybody else. Then this that create emotional pain, and this emotional pain can lead to physical pain. Some of them, they don't talk with the family, with the children, because they are so caught up in the business, and they don't find a way out. And it's sad because they are trapped. So what advice do you have for those entrepreneurs out there? And where do you learn, when do you learn that you have to surrender and realize that to be successful in business, you have to be humble, you have to embrace collective effort, you have to embrace the team, and you have to remove the word I and change it for the way we. How do you learn that? When was that lesson? Do you lose money?
Well,
What happened?
I think you have to learn it as soon as you can,
Yeah.
because otherwise it's a very, very lonely life where
I
it's
learned,
about
yeah,
you.
I learned it when I lost money, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well,
first,
if you don't engage others around you, then you better be the smartest person almost in the world, because otherwise you're ignoring the talents that people have. And I say do that at your own risk. If you do that, you better be so brilliant and so unbelievably smart that you can be a lousy human being to people, and it doesn't matter. But I have not met anybody that smart.
neither do
Uh,
I.
I think you got to look at it as this goal. You could say making a million, or this goal, be successful, whatever your goal is. This goal is about how we do it, and we have to share it. My company, we share what our goals are, and we share with every single person. We share money with every single person.
And we
And
enroll everybody else, and we
right,
enroll everyone in the idea, right?
right, right. And in my company, you could be brand new and you could be at an entry-level position, and you will share the same amount as somebody that's been there for 20 years, which may sound unfair, but it's in a way really cool, because that new person jumping on thinks, wait a minute, I'm going to get the share in this. I want to make sure I'm participating in that success. I want to be in it. I want to do things. And that's important. It's a team sport. It's not all about me. It's a team sport. So I learned it very early on when I was in a rock band. I was in music originally.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in music. I had hair. I had it all
Me
going
too.
for
Long
me.
hair. Yeah.
Yeah, I had it all. And I learned that in a rock band where we were writing songs and playing them, there was a guy in the band that sang better than me. So if I'm an egomaniac, I've got to sing every song. But if I'm smart, I go, you know what? He's a better singer. Have him sing. There's a guy in the band that writes better lyrics than me. You know what? I learned, why don't we have him do a lot of those lyrics, right? There's a guy in the band that's a phenomenal lead guitarist. I don't play lead guitar. He does. You know what? Let him get the spotlight then. Okay, so I'd write a lot of the songs. I'd sing a little bit here or there. But I learned that we were a lot better when we focused on the strengths of everybody instead of me. And that's what I believe is how we have to run a company. Don't you, Harry?
Absolutely, absolutely. The collective effort, and I think that I realized that when we were hiring for our first property company, we managed to sell over 5 million. And I remember that when I start to hire people, I have a goal that let's hire good people. And little did I know, everybody that I had, they all were better than me at everything.
Yeah.
Until one point that one day I came to the office and they told me, Harry, we don't need you, go home. I'm like, what? You don't need paper in the photocopy? They said, go home, we don't need you. Come, bring some ideas if you can, but you can stay at home. And
Right.
I did kind of by accident, but the truth was that I managed to hire people in our organization that they were better than me in sales, they were better than me in accounts, they were better than me at everything. And you have to surrender. And I was like, okay, I'm going home. I feel strange. I have nothing to do, but I think that this is the ultimate goal, to do it for and to enroll the people in the system. I think that one thing that I did by accident, kind of by accident, because you say you learn by doing, is I put a sign in the office when I was there that it says, don't come to me with the problem if you don't have solution. If you don't have 2-3 solutions, don't come and ask me, because I cannot produce the solution for you guys. I'm paying you, you bring the solution, right? And at the end, after a month or two, I think that was a joke in the office. No, don't ask anything to Harry. You need to bring in the solution, otherwise he's not going to pay attention. But guess what happened? I managed to encourage them to bring the solution, and after they brought the solution, I say, okay, which one do you think that we should implement? Because at the end of the day, it's not what I choose. Is we choose something. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we need to choose something else. So this is how it goes, and it's not wrong or right. The most important is to take a decision, and to evaluate and mitigate the risk. So, but this goes to leadership skills. And tell us a little bit more about leadership. Tell us a little bit more about how has been your journey into come to this space where you are in a position that is not is everybody's companies, everybody's idea, everybody's enrolled in the process, and anybody can have an idea. We assess it, and if it's good, we go for it. Otherwise, we try something else. How you learn, or how was your process of transformation since your early days and of entrepreneurs until where you are right now?
I believe in the beginning, I had very little self-confidence. I did not think that, hey, I've got it all figured out and I'm really smart. I actually,
right.
I felt the opposite. I kind of thought, I don't know if I should even be here. I don't know if I'm sharp enough. But as I've gotten older and have appreciated the most important things in life, like humans, being around good people and helping good people, what has happened for me is I've been able to focus far more on being relaxed and offering my genuine input, whether or not it's taken by the client, let's say, or one of my team members. Whether or not it's taken or not is a different issue. But I believe that I'm here to make things better. I'm here to do things which excite me, by the way, that have never been done before. That's very exciting. I love to tackle that. I also am here to find the magic in situations, the differentiation, the uniqueness. And I do that with my clients, but I also did it with children when I would work with them in sports. I coached kids from the age of 6 up to 15.
Wow.
And I coached them, and I found what they did best and made sure we really helped them do that better, as opposed to yelling at them for making mistakes and telling them, don't drop the ball, and yelling at them, don't swing and miss. I didn't do those things. I thought, no, wait a minute, this person's a good catcher of the ball. This person's a good batter. This person's a good pitcher. Let's celebrate these things. So as I've progressed throughout my 40 years of running a business, I work with people at my company that way, but I work with my clients. I look at, wait a minute, now let's look at what you do that's really, really strong, and let's make sure we do not change that, okay? Let's hold on to it. That's part of your magic. Now, there are other things you can improve on, of course, but let's make sure that what makes you who you are, that uniqueness, that differentiation or distinctiveness, let's make sure we honor that. We protect that. And that's what my focus is every day. Every day I'm looking for that. And for me, Harry, it's ultimately a very positive life because I'm looking at really good things that are uplifting, things that are hopeful, and hopefully I'm helpful in doing that.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. I think that sometimes I was thinking, okay, what's my talent then? Because all of them, they're better than me. But I reflect, and I think that this is our talent. Our talent is to find the right person and to make and to put them in the right position so they can develop themselves as far as they can. And this is what moved the company forward. And I think that this is a great talent. Not too many people have this talent in the entrepreneur world, and it's a lot, like I was sharing with you, it's a lot of ego involved. It's a lot of, I'm the boss and everybody have to do what I say, and then organization struggle because of that. I think this has only one word: leadership, right? And the lack of leadership, in my opinion, is where most companies struggle out there. So tell us.
Don't you think, though, I want to jump on that. Don't you think that it's very easy for leaders
Exactly.
to look down on people and say, well, look, I'm the leader and you're just this person that does whatever. I've offered ownership at my company to a number of people over the years. And I've had some people that said, look, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do what you do, but I love what I'm doing now. I just want to do that. Can I just do that? And I've said, yeah, sure. Now that person doesn't, in my eyes, doesn't look weak. They're strong. They know what they do or don't want. Just because they're not officially called a leader or an owner in that situation does not mean they're anything less than what I am. They're great. They want to do something different than what I want to do, and they want to do it with me, but they don't want to do what I'm doing. And I think we have to understand as leaders that we're not superior. We're just people who have some level of interest or determination to do what we're doing that is a little different, maybe a little more advanced in that one area of enthusiasm or energy to do it than other people. It does not mean we're smarter. I know I'm not smarter. It doesn't mean we're better looking. I know I'm not. It doesn't mean we have more talent. Every person I was in a band with had more talent than me. It's just they're different. They have a different need or interest.
Absolutely.
Now, as a leader, can we corral all those people? And can we gather them together and honor and celebrate what they do that's so great and help them and us succeed together? That's what we need to do as a leader. And it's not pie in the sky philosophical stuff I'm talking about. It can be done, and it is done every single day.
Absolutely. It's like the meaning of the word leader, I think it comes from to serve, right? And
Right.
basically is what can we do to make all our team do the job better? This
Right.
is what can we do? What can we help? Like for example, if somebody share with you, I'm really comfortable in that position. This is what I really want to do. This is what I can expand my full potential. As leader, we have to be able to see that, to embrace that, and then don't say, okay, but apart from that, you have to do this, because in the end of the day, our role is to embrace that every single in the organization can express themselves and can play at the full potential in the organization, because at the end of the day, it's what we're talking today is the collective effort what made the organization to grow. But then, Barry, tell us, why you decide to become an entrepreneur? Do you have any entrepreneur in your family? What happened?
Well, okay, now, Harry, this is, I think, a little bizarre, but I'll tell you that story. I grew up, I wanted to be a songwriter. So as a kid, I wanted to do creative things. So I was 9, 10 years old and trying to write songs and play drums and play keyboards. That's what I was doing. My mom tried to brainwash me into being a business person because her father, my grandfather, was a great businessman. Now, I never met him. He had passed away before I was born, but she kept telling me stories. Oh, you got to be like your grandfather. You're going to sell things. You're going to grow a business. I go, I hate business. I hate selling. I don't want to do anything with business, Mom. And I don't know if it was brainwashing or what happened, but as I was in my music career, I started to handle more of the business portion of the bands I was in, and trying to sell our songs and sell our band. And all of a sudden it hit me. I thought, uh-oh, I'm becoming a business person. I'm going, oh my gosh, I'm becoming what I thought I would hate to be, but I'm actually liking it. That's what happened. And I think it's an advantage for me personally, because I never wanted to be in business. I did not want to sell. I did not want to run a company, but I'm doing those things. And
your genes.
You know what? Yeah, I think it was in my genes. I think that the reality is, since I didn't crave it, that as it came to me, it was very natural, as opposed to me trying to turn into something I'm not. It's kind of like, well, it looks like, it's like you.
What's an outcome? Nobody want to. I bet that nobody want to handle the business side of the band. Everybody want to play. Everybody want to sing. Everybody, but the business side. And then, as leader that you are, you say, you know what? I'll do it. And
Right.
little by little, you start to warm up. I have a music band also, yeah. I
Mhm.
call it Buena Vista London Club. Yeah, I created as a hobby. We play salsa music, yeah. And a lot
Mhm.
of people asking me, Harry, what do you do in the band? I said, look, I do what is required. If I had to
Right.
do the choir, I do the choir. If I need to play the big guitar, I do it. If I had to, depends who shows up.
Right.
That's what I do in the band. If everybody shows up, maybe I go dance. I don't have to do anything in the band, but sometimes they all don't show up, so I cover the best I can, and this is what I do in the band. So in the end of the day, but then I think that entrepreneurs, we always has like you said, this gene or something that we want to do things different. And sometimes it's by accident, like you're
Mhm.
there, nobody wants
Yeah.
to do the business side in the band,
Right.
and you say, well, somebody has to do it, so I'll do it, and there you go. Now you are in business. You need to learn how to sell. You need to learn how to handle the accounts. You need to talk to promoters. And so, how was your journey on becoming an entrepreneur? Like you said, you didn't find any resistance. There were no hate in any of this. You have to sell, so you didn't say, "Oh, I don't like to sell. I will learn how to sell." Oh, I didn't. So, how was that journey? Like you said, you didn't find a lot of resistance as other people can have. We have entrepreneurs that we know that they like product development and they don't like to sell, or they like accounts and they don't want to do this, and it becomes complicated. I think that by your personality, you're someone that if nobody want to do, you embrace it, you try to do your best, and when things go better, you will hire someone. But how was that journey?
Well, what happened was I was in a band for those years, and I started to also create what are known as jingles. So those are those irritating little ditties that you hear on TV and radio. And
They are very lucrative, though.
they can be. And I had those two things going. So I had a band and I had this little company I was running. And then one day, tragedy struck. My father passed away. And all of a sudden, it dawned on me that, maybe I'm not going to live forever. And maybe I ought to make a decision and get serious about doing one thing. And I had this discussion with myself, and I decided, and it actually surprised me, but I decided to pursue my company instead of my band. I think the band was kind of done at that point. And I put all my energy into my music and audio business. And then what happened was a year later, one of my clients that I was doing some audio programs for called me up and said, "Hey, we want to sell you our marketing department. You can own it as your own company, and we'll give you a 3-year agreement to do all of our business." And I
Wow.
said, no. I said, I don't think so. I think I'm an audio guy, but here are 5 agencies in the area that could do it for you. And they said, okay. Well, they kept asking me, and literally after a year, I get a phone call, and my receptionist at the company said, "Hey, it's the client again." I went, "Oh, why do they keep asking me this?" So he got on. He said, "I want you to take over our marketing." And I said, "I've given you all these other names. Why are you coming back to me again?" And he goes, "Because we trust you." And I went, "Oh, okay." So I said, "All right." At that moment, I became a full service ad agency. I also did not realize that at that moment, I lost most of my clients because as a jingle writer, I was working with other full service ad agencies, and now I was a competitor. So by that next Monday morning, I had a bunch of phone calls saying, "Hey, we're not working with you anymore." So I lost all of my clients, but I gained this big client. And it then put me on a path to do different kinds of creative. No longer did I just do audio or music. I was doing video, and I was doing writing, and I was doing websites, and I was doing all these different things. Within 1 year of that, I won the Entrepreneur of the Year award that Ernst & Young
Wow.
awards. And it was a kind of a confirmation, Harry, that we were on a good track and doing something good. So from that point on, it's been decades. but we grew and grew. And to this day, we're working with many wonderful clients, and I have a team of people with a lot of passion. So ultimately, most of my time is pretty positive and pretty exciting.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit. Let's talk about marketing and say, because we commonly see that companies out there, when something goes wrong, for example, COVID, yeah, everybody worried that, oh, let's cut the budget in marketing and sales, and which is it's like you cutting the life strip of the business. So why do you think that companies, when something goes wrong, right, the first thing that they think that would be productive is to cut the ad expense, to cut the marketing, to cut the sales, without knowing that if you cut the budget right and cut it, they should be increasing it, because if nobody else is doing, the ad costs less. And so why this is happening, Barry? What do you think that people don't take marketing and sales as serious as it is?
I think one thing that's very, very interesting to me is a company may be very tempted to cut marketing and at the same time invest in millions of dollars of new equipment. And they look at those things very differently, because, oh, gee, there are different tax consequences. That equipment's not looked at as a loss or an expense. It's an investment for the future and all that. So I think it's ill-advised to look that way. Marketing can be very, very reasonable as far as what it costs. But the thing I think that's rough to understand for many of us is you have to create a momentum with your marketing. You can't just come out and do something that comes off like very romantic, like, oh, here's a new slogan, and all of a sudden we're making millions of dollars. It doesn't work that way. It is literally like a machine. You have to build it. You have to constantly maintain and tweak it. It has to keep going. You can't just pull the plug when times get bad and then rev it up when times are good. And it's no different than a car. If you run out of gasoline, that car's gone. And then if you think a year later, you just pour a little bit of gasoline in and the car's in perfect shape, you're wrong. It's going to take a while to get that thing back up to condition again. It's going to have lots of problems because it's deteriorated. Okay. So it's the same thing. And I think that we have to realize that marketing is a diet. It's like staying in shape or eating well. It must be maintained. You don't have to go crazy on it, but it is very, very critical. What my book is all about, it covers some of that, and that is you have to identify what makes your brand unique or different, not superior. You may not be superior in every way. You probably aren't, but you may be, and I would say almost for sure are unique or distinct in 2 or 3 different areas. You need to focus on those. You need to name those. You need to celebrate those with employees so they feel like they're doing something of value. That's what real marketing is about. It's identifying what makes you uniquely and authentically who you are. It's then being able to communicate it. And then after that, you got to celebrate it with the most important people first, your people, as you start to launch it to the world. And I think you got to look at marketing like that. It's not a slogan or a logo. It's far more than that.
It's absolutely what you said. Like when the companies they invest the money in that equipment, look the word that you use, investment. But they're forgetting that marketing is an investment, and it's very clear. Now you can measure everything. You put $10 into the advertising. If you're making 20 or 30, well, it's an investment. You are investing the money and you're getting money back out of this. It's not an expense. And I think the biggest challenge that everyone have out there is that they consider marketing and sales as part of expense, as part of, oh, this is money that we're gonna waste, or it's an overhead. And it's not an overhead, it's an investment. And if you maintain that investment, like you clearly described, this investment is going to continue to produce money for you. Because it's like you said, with very little, you can measure in marketing everything. nowadays. And if you're overspending, maybe like you said, you need to tweak, you need to find another solutions, and until this budget becomes an investment, meaning you're spending less than what the income is producing. But let's talk about branding. Tell us about your book. I'm dying to know more about your book and about branding, something that we love.
The book's title is The Power of Differentiation. It is on Amazon. Of course, I urge anybody to buy the book, but also give it a rating, review it, give it a rating. Simon & Schuster is distributing it worldwide. So it's got some good background on it. A few things about the book. The subtitle tells it all, which is Win, W-I-N, Win Hearts, Minds, and Market Share. And that's the order we need to go in. We need to win the hearts of our people. They got to think, okay, I'm at the right place. I am doing something I'm proud of. We got to win the minds of our people. They got to go, okay, this makes sense. This is really smart. The minds of our customer, they go, okay, this makes a lot of sense. I love what they're doing here. And then, yes, we'll win the market share. So the book contains approximately 50 stories of very successful companies and their leaders. It's not about me at all. I'm hardly in the book, but it's a great collection of success stories of companies, small and large, new and over 100. Some of them are 120. One of them is over 200 years old, that have been able to identify their magic and share it with their people to rally them and to make history. So it's filled with really good information. It talks about things like the power of words. So often, you look at branding out there and somebody's slogan looks like somebody else and somebody else's looks like that one. And we share the fact that the English language has over 200,000 words. So why don't we make sure we're very, very careful about what words we use for our business, instead of using service, selection, value, solutions, all those typical words that so many companies use that you don't even pay attention to them. So we explain that words create worlds. So we talk about that. We talk about how to create. We go through a jam session where you can actually create actionable ideas for your company. A jam session. We detail out how you do it. We talk about how you can go through your facility, whether it's a manufacturing, technology, service, whatever facility, and identify what you do that's unique and why it's so important. We discuss that in the book. We share stories of 120-year-old companies that had lost their way and all of a sudden said, you know what we were a decade ago, a century ago, is no longer who we are. And we got to get back to what really made us who we are. And those companies come back and they rally themselves around the heart and soul that they were all about. It's filled with stories like that, Harry. It's I find it a very uplifting book.
Do you have it out there? Do you have it close to you there so you can show it to us?
I do not have it right next to me here. I don't.
We will put it anyway in the description of the podcast. And then let's talk about that, because the first question was how to make your first million, how to go to 0 to 1. However, we believe that when the companies achieve the first million, they achieve what we call it a product market fit. So clearly the product is selling. That's why they achieved the million. But now a second challenge is coming, which is market share, right? Mm-hmm. How we get market share. And then is where branding actually becomes important. This is when branding actually takes the lead. So what advice do you have for entrepreneurs out there that need to make the second jump, right? And now it's completely different ball game, right? Because your product is selling, and that's why you're selling 1 million. But now, if you want to grow, if you want to expand, if you want market share, now you have to build a brand. And this is completely different ball game, but it's gonna be when you're selling the business, you're selling your brand. So what can you tell to entrepreneurs to embrace this second step? We have nothing to do with the 0 to 1, which is build the brand, differentiate yourself in the marketplace, and be conscious that if you don't achieve that effectively, it's gonna be very tough for you to get more market share and grow your business.
I would share this. Yes, you've built your business. Let's say you're $1 million, right? Okay, that's nice, but is it sustainable? Are you profitable? Are you happy doing it, or do you feel exhausted? And my suggestion is you have now proven you can build a business. How about building a better business as your next step, which means let's focus on your strengths and identify how you can share those strengths not only with your people, but with prospects who may have an interest, so that you're bringing in the type of new clients that actually want what you do best. And what you do best is what you probably enjoy the most. So instead of saying yes to everybody as you go through this second phase, you're going, hey, I want this type of client that has this type of interest in what we do, because nobody does it like us. Nobody does it. We have an edge for the right kind of customer. And if you do that, you will bring in customers who actually appreciate what you do. They will also more happily pay reasonable prices for what you're doing, because they're going, look, really, nobody does what these people do. That's what I think you have to look at, because otherwise it's not sustainable. Yes, you can bring business in. If it's killing you, if you're not making money, if you have a lot of client turnover and you have unhappy employees, it's really a very painful existence. If you have clients who actually appreciate what you do, employees who feel they're doing something of value, and you can charge fairly, that's a really good second step.
Yeah, definitely. If you're speaking with everybody, you're speaking with nobody. So at some point, once, and this is our first company. We had actually that challenge. We were making $1 million, but we were running a business, but we were not building a brand. And yeah, it was exhausted.
Well, I had one situation that was like this. After we had grown for a number of years, I got very frustrated, and I thought, this is just so difficult. So I brought all our people, 8 people, whatever I had, 8 or 9 people in the room. And I said, hey, let's analyze this. So I said, let's look at our clients. And so I said, list the clients we love working with. So there was a list. I said, list the clients that we don't like working with. So there was a list. List the clients that are profitable. There was a list. List the clients that aren't profitable. There was another list. I said, list the clients that we have a future with. There was a list. I said, list the clients we don't. There was a list. We did not have 6 lists when it was done. We had 2. The clients that were fun to work with, that we loved, were profitable, and we had a future with. The others we did not. And all of a sudden I went, oh my gosh, we've got to focus on the type of customer that we really serve well. And we literally had to let go of a lot of other customers. And we did it in a nice fashion. We didn't just pull the plug on them, but it was scary. But we never skipped a beat, because all of a sudden I realized, we're not making money on these clients that are unhappy. They're difficult to work with. We're not a good fit. Let's help them go somewhere else. And we did.
Maybe you specialize then when it comes to the specialization and the branding of your company, that maybe those clients that they're happy to work with you, that they're paying you fairly, and they appreciate your work. Maybe they all have the same needs, and maybe you are offering 10 solutions, but actually you can specialize in 3 or 4, because this is what your ideal client really want from you. They don't need you to do the other 6 things. The other 6 things they can do with somebody else. They need you only for 4 things that you do better than anybody else. And if you build the brand around these 4 things that you do better than anyone else, then anyone else, guess what happened? Those clients are going to be very happy, but more of this prospect, it will appear into your pipeline, because that's what makes you unique in the marketplace, right?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And sometimes in the company, we have to make a twist and let go. And I realized once that once we make an expansion in the company, and the only thing that we expanded was more work. Because of these things, right? Because we expand all the services that we have, and then we expand it more, and then, well, but no, the services, they were profitable. No, the service, the clients, there were few services that they love it, and this is what they want for us. The other one, it was a big overhead that was expensive. It was difficult to deliver those services, and in the end of the day, it was not working. And sometimes less is more, and sometimes the other thing is that we had to listen what our clients want, rather than we offer the solution that we think they want to buy. And if we have that flexibility, and asking them more and more to our clients what they would like us to do, and what they if they really want help in this and that, the more we listen to them, the more we can shape our company into a place that is easy, is not resistant. The other day, Barry, I have a podcast with one entrepreneur, and he asked me a question. He told me, Harry, what are the fastest journey between point A and B? And I said, oh, between point A and B, the faster is the straight line. I told him, yeah. And he told me, no, Harry, it's not a straight line. It's the path of less resistance. Look at the river, yeah. And the podcast finished. I'm still thinking, how profound was that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as entrepreneur, we want to go to A to B as fast as possible,
right,
without realizing that if we are able to listen to our clients, to differentiate ourselves into the marketplace, and to work with the clients that really appreciate us, then we are on a path of less resistance, and this is beautiful, correct?
Yes, you are right on target.
So, how tell us a little bit more about if somebody wants to work with you guys. Tell us a little bit about the services that you provide and how the process works to work with you.
If somebody has an interest in talking or having a conversation with me, they can get a hold of me through my website, which is barrylabov.com, or my company's website, labov.com. What we start out to do is we have a discussion, and I'd say 90% of the time it is not transactional. Maybe it's 95% of the time it's not transactional. So we have a good discussion. Usually a person will share what they're doing. I will give them some recommendations. Sometimes they will have read my book or portions of the book, and they'll say, hey, what did you mean by this? What could we do at our company to do that? So I think that's a really good step, because we focus only on one word, and we're trying to inspire 1 million people worldwide on it, and that is differentiation. And what we look to do is help companies observe and save the right things, the good things they're doing, instead of trying to become something they're not. And then we build a really inspiring plan around that, where they get to motivate and celebrate their people, and they get to attract the right type of clientele. So that's what we're looking at. You could call it marketing, branding, training. I look at it as it's differentiation, and it's honoring what makes you unique.
Any category that you guys are more comfortable, like could be music, tech, or retail, or which ones are your favorite clients?
Our client breakdown is we work with many manufacturers, probably 40-50% are manufacturers. We also work with service and technology companies, ranging from aviation companies to major league or minor league baseball teams. So we work with a pretty wide range.
Wow.
What our specialty is we work with clients that are very hungry, very humble, and they're ready to roll their sleeves up to see some progress. So we love that we work with a baseball team, and we work with one of the world's oldest copper manufacturers, one of the world's leading Scotch manufacturers, one of the world's leading car manufacturers, as well as a family business out of Pennsylvania that's been around for 120 years that does a great job in the components industry. We love it all. We love it all.
As soon as, oh, wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, I think that it's all come to what is your message. And I think that is key and very important. I always said, don't build the business, build the brand. Because at some point when you want to exit, what you're selling is that brand.
Right.
Probably that brand will run without you. And this is different because branding is a little bit different than marketing, because marketing we talk about that you can measure everything. You can measure how much money you put and the return. But branding, it comes a little bit wider to more difficult for entrepreneurs to understand, because it's a long-term investment.
Right.
And sometimes again, they don't see it as an investment until the moment that they want to sell the business. Now they realize, I didn't work on that, and now I don't have no value. So how do you, or what's the journey that you have with the entrepreneurs to communicate this effectively so they understand why building a brand is important, why differentiate you from the marketplace? We open the door for you to have bigger market share, therefore more income, more profit. How you educate your clients so they understand this concept that is not easy for anybody. For us, my girlfriend has a book publishing company, and some of the products and services that we offer, if the people hasn't sold 1 million, they won't understand what are the products and services that we have, because is related with this second part, and is difficult for people to understand, right?
Right. Now, I think you've already covered it. It's an investment, and it's an investment not just in trying to make money, but it's an investment in your entire enterprise that is sustainable. If it's authentic and true, you can live that every day. And I think that's the best message.
Yeah. And then I always said, Barry, if you confuse them, you lose them. So it's important. So when the clients come, that they have a clarity what your company is about, what can you do for them, and what are the delivery. So thank you so much. Tell us again, where can we find your book?
It's on Amazon. Please visit it. It's The Power of Differentiation. And as we mentioned, my websites are barrylabov.com or labov.com.
And on that note, thank you so much, Barry, for the broadcast. And for all of you following this broadcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like Barry break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.